Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here on Watchbox Reviews. Then I can deliver my daily best to your inbox. Every watch, every minute, right here on Watchbox Reviews. And if you like these watches, they are all for sale on our website, thewatchbox.com, the internet's largest single-source repository of pre-owned and vintage luxury timepieces. Buy, trade, and sell on thewatchbox.com. High-res images, boxes, papers, and accessories included are depicted along with full pricing for all of our watches. The watch we're discussing today is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Geophysic True Second. An SIHH 2015 debut, it followed up the Tribute to Geophysic of 2014, and with the True Second and its characteristic deadbeat as well as its somewhat upsized case, the Geophysic line finally began to stand on its own with an identity independent of the 1958 original. So this watch has a unique dial, case, and caliber, and it's a versatile size. This is a watch anyone can wear at 39.6 millimeters across the round of the case on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. You get a good sense of the proportions. It's not a thick watch, though it's not an ultra thin. 12 millimeters with a generously sloped conical bezel. It'll slide underneath the dress cuff, jacket, or sleeve. You'll also note that from lug to lug, it's a relatively constrained 47 millimeters, so this watch can, in my estimation, be worn on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. If you wish to accessorize, the lug spacing is a standard 20 millimeters. Stainless steel composition, you can see it's nicely differential finished. But first let's take a look at the strap. As you can see, it has sheer sides, a medium rectangular scale alligator leather in black with a matte finish, and on the underside supple calfskin with a little bit of a distressed grain. It is a very soft and luxurious strap. It's paired with a JLC double folding clasp in stainless steel. You'll also note that it features the contemporary JLC folding clasp quick release system on the bottom. Push here and pop it right off. Friendly for those of you who like to swap straps at home, and secure when closed with a nice arced profile on the underside, so the clasp body actually traces the curve of your wrist for comfort. Now jumping back to the case, you can see that it features the strong lug profiles of the original 1958 Geophysic, but the level of fit, finish, and detailing is higher on the modern watches. Contrast? Well, plenty of it. Satin finished on the case flank, you can see that the lugs themselves have shoulders that are polished as well as hoods that are polished with a handsome bevel as the transition point between the two. The squared off ends of the lugs have sharp and strong geometries, so though the lugs are short, they are potent visually, a nice complement to the curvature of the case and the bezel. And you will note that the bezel has a hard conical profile with a small vertical segment in high polish. The bezel is all of high polish, and the dial itself is separated from the bezel by a fascinating chapter ring or rayhot. And I'm going to try to get close here so you can see it in detail, but this is one remarkably evocative chapter ring. Technically a rayhot, it is a sloped connection between the bezel and the dial itself. So the loom has been applied to the edge of that rayhot because in the original Geophysic in 1958, the loom would have been located on the underside of the crystal, and to approximate that as closely as possible on the Geophysic line, you see this rayhot has been festooned with simulated patina luminescent dots. There will be a loom shot at the end of the video. You can see that the loom coloration does correspond to what you'll see within the hour and the minute hands. The dial itself is an opaline or matte metallic silver, a little bit of a frost texture, slightly pebbly or grainy. You can see it's easy to read with a high contrast between the hands, the indices, the calibrations of the hash marks, and the dial base. Simple, not oversigned JLC, as you can see, with the applied logo, Jaeger-LeCoultre Geophysic and True Second. Nicely balanced top to bottom. It does feature a date window, but it's an upscale date window with a metallic finished aperture, and you'll note double indices for 9, 6, and 12. Handsome, deluxe in its appointment, and surprisingly stealthy in its feature set. You have that handsome rayhot with the applied loom. You have a time zone feature that allows you to jump in hour increments while the watch continues to tick in its deadbeat or true second fashion. And you can see how if you are traveling east or west across the international date line, this time zone travel feature will allow you to drive the date in both directions. Now, of course, you can pull the crown out to extremity, and now you hack the deadbeat seconds hand. You stop everything and you can synchronize to a reference time. Push the crown back in. The watch is 50 meters water resistant with a push-down crown, and you can see the caliber 770 that made its debut on this model. A full balance bridge with a free sprung index. It is a very tough sports watch caliber. Automatic winding with a 40-hour power reserve. One of the most most distinctive features is the application of a JL-shaped, see if we can freeze it in a position where you can see it, but a JL-shaped yoke-style balance wheel. That is, it is not annular. It is not a complete ring. If you can imagine the Jaeger-LeCoultre logo positioned with the J and the L back to back, and then double it, so there's another J and L inverted on the top of it, a yoke, just like an aircraft control yoke. So you don't actually have a balance wheel, you have that yoke. The advantage is that it actually has superior aerodynamic properties compared to a standard balance wheel. Distinctive, unusual, unconventional to be sure, but also functional. It's one of the feathers in the cap of the sophisticated caliber. Others include the robust structure with the free-sprung index that we discussed, and a unidirectional winding system that employs ceramic rotor bearings, the two combining to create a very efficient winding tandem, as unidirectional is more efficient than bidirectional, and unlubricated ceramic more efficient than lubricated steel bearings. You'll also note that there is some handiwork going on here. Every JLC movement does finish with at least a small amount of handcraft, so there is no completely machine-made JLC caliber. And you can see that the Côte de Genève are richly textured and perfectly aligned across the bridges. You'll note that the balance wheel, I should say rather, the winding mass has been skeletonized to give you a better view of the works. All of the screws are kiln-fired and heat-blued, so oxidized rather than chemically dyed. And we do have a modern beat rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour for that yoke-shaped balance wheel. So even though it beats at 8 beats per second, you see the True Second complication driving away on the front. And you can actually enjoy the mechanism that drives the True Second deadbeat by looping the case back of the watch. So this is one you're going to want to look at if you own it. Finally, the timepiece, featuring all the modern standards, a tough sports watch architecture, a timeless design, handsome proportions, and a versatile case size, is one of the finest all-around dress watches that JLC sells in the modern era. A manufacturer product stem to stern, a tribute to a great JLC name, and very much a modern watch in fit, finish, and execution. You can see and you can buy this Jaeger-LeCoultre Geophysic True Second in steel on our website.